What's up, everybody? Welcome back into TK Wrestling. We are back, and we are here to talk about Friday Night SmackDown.
Because
And,
SmackDown's getting good enough to talk.
Yeah, SmackDown's 3 hours, and now we have enough content to actually make a full show out of, and the ramifications that are coming out of this show and leading into the Royal Rumble. But before we jump into it, make sure you drop a like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment down below what you thought about SmackDown, and comment again at the end and let us know everything you disagree with us on, because we love to hear it. But yeah, Matt, SmackDown was pretty good this week, and it's like, again, a lot more room for storytelling when you have that extra hour. Yeah, what do you think about the overall pace of the show now that
Think about it. First of all, okay, well, the pace, we'll talk about, I don't want to keep harping on commercials, but they got to figure this out. They got to figure this commercial thing out. But otherwise, look, we got all 4 of those number 1 contender matches in one show. That's crazy. Like, usually we'd have to wait like a week, 2 weeks for like all 4 of those matches to go. To get them all 4 in one show, I thought that was pretty awesome. And then, like I said, all the other storylines going on as well. Starting up from the jump, dude, I haven't seen a lot of great Drew McIntyre entrances because he hasn't been on the top since I've been watching. He's always been in feuds in the middle, it feels like, Now he's on the top. Dude, they had the live bagpipes in London. I loved it. I loved every minute of it. You said you've seen better, and that's fine, but damn, that was good.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. It was a good entrance, and it wasn't even that it's like I've seen better. It's just he's done it on such a bigger stage and spectacle, to a point. He's done the bagpipes and really had some really great and special entrances. But yeah, dude, it's great to see Drew back on top. For how long? I don't know, because I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah, no, that's the biggest question now. It feels like for the first time in a while, we don't know what's going on in SmackDown. Like there's a whole bunch of questions, new people being introduced in a sense with Trick Williams and whatnot. And yeah, so just a lot of, I like the uncertainty. I'm not against it, but like I said, a lot of feel like uncertainty. How long does Drew hold on to this title? That promo he cut was fantastic. Gets out there, opens the show, cuts a fantastic promo. Randy comes up. We get a little Randy, Drew interaction. And then Fatu comes out, and like, dude, we're right off and running, because then what happens? The Miz comes out and slams Randy, and da-da-da-da. Let's start match number 1, baby. Yep. Felt like no pause right there at the beginning of the show. It was great. It was absolutely fantastic.
And basic wrestling math tells me that as soon as the Miz hit Randy with that finisher, he was destined to lose that match against Randy. So as soon as that happened, I said, well, there goes my hopes of the Miz maybe getting a surprise win over Randy. Definitely not happening now.
Right.
But yeah, no, and you mentioned something in your notes as well about Drew standing toe to toe with Randy, but then running away from Fatu. Look, at this stage in their careers, Fatu is definitely the scarier guy.
I guess he's definitely the more unpredictable one of the two.
Yeah. Because Randy's like calculated and he's a vet and all that stuff. Like Jacob is just he's a menace, bro. He's a demon. He's an animal. He does not care. Like, and it's almost like he doesn't feel pain, when now we know over the last few years that at the very least, Randy's got a bad back now. So you can always target that back. But what do you target with Jacob? You can't.
I guess his teeth, but he grew them all back. So I don't know.
Yeah. And they look a lot better now. I'm sure there's no correlation at all. But yeah, I just, yeah, sure. I could see Drew standing toe to toe with Randy because he's done those battles with Randy before. And sure, while Randy is intimidating and he's Randy Orton, Drew's like, look, been there, done that. I'll do it again. But Fatu, nobody's dominated him on the main roster yet.
Fatu, I guess it's true,
So we're kind of in uncharted waters with Fatu right now, in terms of we haven't really seen him humbled yet. Like, because like he's lost matches before, and he's was taken out in that backstage segment, but he's been really protected since he came up to the main roster. And we haven't really seen him take any kind of like detrimental hit to his character yet to see how he comes out on the other side. And I think that now, him being thrown into that main event scene, we're going to get more of an idea of how he swims with the rest of the big fish, and he seems to already be fine. I don't think anybody really had a doubt. It's just now is what we were talking about for the last year and a half, 2 years with Jacob Fatu about he could be a main eventer. Well, he is now. He's officially there, and so now we get to see how it all plays out, and I'm really, really, really excited. And you brought it up in your notes a little bit later, but I want to talk about it right now because you brought up Fatu and all that. But I actually kind of like what they're doing with the whole CODY and Fatu thing in terms of throwing that program in right now
But yeah,
because
yeah.
it
No,
keeps Drew, doing his thing on the side, and it also justifies CODY not being a part of that tournament to crown the number one contender. He can go off and do his thing against Jacob, and I really, really, really want Jacob to win this little mini feud, if that's what you want to call it. I really want
all right,
Jacob.
all right. Well, you're
But we'll get
getting
there.
ahead of ourselves. Getting ahead of ourselves.
I know. But that's
All
why
right.
I said I want to talk about it for a second. I'll save the rest of it. But yeah, Drew out with the championship, celebration of sorts. And then The Miz, like I said, hitting that finisher kind of gave me the idea that we knew
I mean,
what was going on there. Even though it
there
was
any
like a
doubt?
98.
I'm about to say, was there
Like
any
a
doubt?
2% chance maybe that I thought Miz could squeak it out. Like I said, with some Trick Williams interference, maybe. But
I mean, could you see a Miz Randy Orton feud? Because that's what would have happened then. We would have had to have a Miz, like the Miz losing. We don't have to have that feud. But if Randy had lost to the Miz, we'd be sitting like
yeah,
3 months of Miz and Randy Orton or something.
To be honest with you, I don't know that there's any person on the roster that I couldn't see either The Miz or Randy Orton having a feud with. Like, they're both so good and so professional and like the epitome of what the WWE is that I legit think they could work with anybody. But if you're asking me if I would like to see a Randy and Miz feud in 2026, I actually wouldn't mind it. I don't think it would have to be like a long feud. But just like,
Right.
Maybe like a match at Saturday night's main event. But that would have been like if they both, well, it wouldn't have really worked out because one of them would have had to win this match. So, I mean, it just doesn't really play into the timeline right now. But if it were to make sense, yeah, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't mind it.
All right. So after this match, before we get any more Fatu shenanigans, CODY comes out, lets everybody know he's going to do it again because there's no rematch clause in the Drew McIntyre contract, so he's not getting a rematch. Lets everybody know. I was confused for a second when he said, I'm going to be the first entrant into the Royal Rumble. I thought he meant he'd be the first man in. Like he was putting himself at the ground floor, like, I'm coming in. He might.
We've seen somebody win it from the first position before. So it's like, it wouldn't be impossible. And if you're CODY and you're thinking about like, how do I really want to like prove that I deserve this shot? Coming in at 1, winning the whole thing to win your third consecutive, or not consecutive, but to win your third
right,
Royal
your third,
Rumble.
yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about Jay last year, but yeah, to win your third Rumble, I mean, I'd have to look it up, but I think there's only 2 or 3 guys.
He said there's only been 1, and I don't know which. I should have looked up which one it was.
Stone Cold.
Okay.
I couldn't remember if Shawn won 3, but Stone Cold definitely won 3. Yeah, so I mean, look, I don't really want to see CODY win the Rumble again.
No,
I don't, and I don't think
see CODY do right now. Like I said, I want to see Nightmare CODY. I think I've been talking about that. I want to see, evil CODY come out or something. That's what I want. I want CODY to get so beaten down that he's sitting there drinking Wheatley. So good he's taking it neatly. 20 times. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I want to see him really because we haven't seen I feel like this is. We didn't know what was happening with Randy Orton, right? We didn't know what was happening with The Rock there for a minute, right? Like they wanted his soul, I mean, I feel like this thing with Drew, especially like you said, like when Drew burned the picture, right? Like I feel like there's lines that are getting crossed in a sense. I want to see Nightmare CODY. But anyways, CODY calls himself the first entrant, and like you said, but we'll come back. Then he just goes off the stage. We get match number 2. Now, this one, how excited were you for this one? Trick Williams and Matt Cardona, because I felt like it had to be Trick the whole time I was watching it. Like, and I don't know how to feel for Matt Cardona. Like I said, I'm not, like I said, a big, like I said, follower of his past work, but it's like they brought him up just to lose. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 2 things out of this match. I'm really surprised with how highly they are treating Trick, straight up to the main roster. Like, I've seen guys get shot up pretty quick, like, have a rocket strapped to them. You know, it's, what a lot of people say, but I'm still really shocked at how fast they're giving Trick a lot of this main event, you know, rubbing shoulders with guys, and don't get me wrong, he's done all there is to do in NXT, and, like, I don't think that Trick necessarily needed the time to polish his character anymore. I think he's just that good. Although I do think that sometimes he comes off as a little redundant on the mic, but I think that his character and in-ring work is all there. So I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it. I'm just shocked that WWE did it this quick and really thrusted him into that main event scene.
Well, they've
But
kind of been
two,
doing that with NXT stars lately, though, right? I mean, we've seen it now. Like you said, Stephanie McCare's been around for a while,
Jordan
but they,
Grace too.
yeah, like you know, and so like you know, they brought him up, Julia. You know, they brought him up and I mean, gave him titles in a sense. You know, I mean,
Yeah,
so it feels, and even what we're seeing with Javon Evans, right? So,
true.
but yeah,
I guess I'm just always I guess I have to remember the ages of some of these guys too. Like Stephanie's in her 30s,
hmm
Trick Williams is 31. So
okay.
it's like Trick gives off a younger vibe. You would think he's like 24 or 25 based on how he moves in the ring, how agile he is and just his persona overall. But no, dude's 31, so he's got a lot of experience under his belt. So, and then number two, coming out of this match, I thought that this was going to be a really good determining factor of where Matt Cardona was going to sit in the card. If he won this match, then I think that established that we should, I don't want to say take him seriously because like Matt Cardona has paid his dues and more than that. But I think that this was going to establish where we should expect to see him in the card going forward, at least for now. And the fact that he lost this one and then what happened with him against Kit Wilson after the fact, I think that really cements to us right now that I don't think we should really interpret Matt Cardona as a main eventer. I think that we should maybe be looking at him to maybe go after that U.S. title with Carmelo Hayes, maybe, or maybe do something in the mid card scene or something separately, or maybe he's married to Chelsea Green. Maybe him and Chelsea do something together. I don't know what it is for Matt, but I think that this really showed us that the WWE title is not on the horizon. At least the scene is not on the horizon for him right now. So
Man, you bring
those
up
are
the
my two
Kit
big
Wilson
takeaways.
thing. I mean, you bring up the Kit Wilson thing. Like, what? I mean, hey, I guess I didn't realize how over Kit Wilson was with the crowd already, or how much over he was getting. Like
Dude,
this,
online, he's crazy. It's crazy how over he is online. Well, dude, it's like his presentation and his Titantron really won a lot of people over. Like this change in presentation and then the video that just plays behind him and
Mhm.
then the new song just matches him so well. It's
And then
just like,
you're toxic.
yeah, I tell you, you don't know this guy because again, for those of you that listen here and there, Matt is a returning fan. So he was gone for like almost 20 years away from wrestling. And so he missed a lot. And so he doesn't know a lot of the characters that we knew even
Yeah,
5
no,
years ago.
I only know him like the last like whatever month of Pretty Deadly before, right?
Right.
Before I guess whatever happened with
Yeah,
Pretty Deadly.
Matt has really been integrated back into wrestling for like a year and a half now, give or take. And so this Kit Wilson reminds me a lot of a guy named Tyler Breeze when he was in NXT. We'll have to go watch some Tyler Breeze stuff, but very reminiscent of that Tyler Breeze character. And I mean, I see why it's over. It's fun, you know. Look, it's really funny. It's a really great gimmick, but again, I don't want to use the term take him seriously because I just feel so disrespectful. Like, why? How are we hyping up Matt Cardona's return as such a huge deal to have him lose and then get beat down by Kit Wilson after the
That's what
fact?
I'm saying. They said, did they
Like,
bring him back just to lose? That's what I'm wondering. You know, I
like
mean,
I really don't know. Unless this leads to like a Matt Cardona heel turn, where it's like we really want to establish that Matt Cardona is not the same as Zack Ryder, and Matt has worked a lot as a heel on the indie scene. And so, look, I wouldn't be shocked if maybe that's what it is. Maybe it is leading to like he just gets tired of all the BS and maybe he just destroys Kit Wilson one week. And with how over with the crowd and online Kit Wilson is, that's going to get Matt a lot of heat. And like, what if he returns the favor, but maybe goes a little too far? You know, and then the next week, oh my God, and then Kit could just milk it, dude. Then he's showing up to SmackDown in a neck brace because Matt Cardona tried to kill him, you know, all this kind of stuff. Like, actually, I just talked myself into something that could be like a little fun little side quest for Matt Cardona in his little heel turn,
I mean,
actually.
look, I'll tell you what. Like I said, I haven't seen much of Matt Cardona. Like I said, I didn't watch the Ryder days and whatnot. But he strikes. I mean, he's built like a, you know, he's stout. he reminds me very much of like a military type. You know, he's got kind of like if he was in the first Predator movie with Schwarzenegger, he'd fit right in, like him and Jesse Ventura. You know, so I was thinking Sergeant Slaughter. You know, and then I was thinking this is awful, but like, what if he becomes like an ICE agent?
God, well,
Like the ultimate heel turn, right? I mean, he's there.
That would get him some heat. That would get him some heat.
Hey, Shinsuke, I need to see your paper.
All right. We'll skip past this. All right.
I'm just saying, ultimate heel right there, and he strikes me as like a military heel. So like I said, I was going Sergeant Slaughter, but you know, like I can see, but I mean, he's got probably no military ties at all, so it'd be like left field. But like I said, he just strikes me. He's got that build, you know. If you put like a stogie cigar in his mouth, like I said, he's standing right next to all those guys in Predator. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I always like a good heel stable with guys that just like wear suits all the time. Like Evolution. You're not gonna know these guys, but Main Event Mafia and TNA. Main Event Mafia was like Booker T, Scott Steiner, Sting, Kevin Nash, Kurt Angle, you know, all those guys, and something about guys in like a faction of suits where they just like rip off the jacket and they peel the sleeves up and they're about to kick your ass. You know, there's something I like about stables like that, and I could see Matt Cardona like going into that more heelish side and you know, joining up with 2 or 3 guys. I would have to really put a few pieces together in my head to make it work.
I feel like you're throwing him into American Made.
Well, then that would be Monday. You got to figure out something.
Oh,
on
that's
SmackDown.
wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, we haven't seen. I feel like we haven't seen American Made in forever, dude. Like, where have
they were on
the
a
brothers?
Few weeks ago?
But, you know, I mean, Ivy Nile.
They were all following Ivy Nile around a few weeks ago, but that's it.
That's the only one feel like I've seen lately. Anyways, yeah. No, I don't know. He strikes you as like mafia. He strikes me as military. I don't know, but I can see the heel turn.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be mafia. It could just be like, I don't know. He's made his whole new persona of making a living on the indies. You know, no matter what, I take every booking. No matter what, I do the job. No matter what. And now maybe he could treat himself as like hey man, look, I'm back in the WWE. I don't have to pay my dues anymore. I dress nice because I get paid nice. You know, and so stuff like that.
Well, it'd be interesting. I feel that ties into Chelsea Green. I feel I could see, you know, that feels like a Chelsea Green tie.
They could be the new. Oh my God, they could be the prom king and queen.
Right.
Type
the American couple or something.
Yeah. Oh my God, and it's funny because Chelsea's not even American, so it would be great.
Is she not?
No, she's Canadian.
Canadian.
She's Canadian. Yep. That's the whole bit.
The whole joke about her
Herbis, because none of them are American. None of them. It's she's Canadian. Then Alba and Piper are all both Scottish. So okay. It's like they're just this whole America themed stable, and none of them are American. Yeah, it's pretty great. But yeah, I don't know what's on the horizon for Matt Cardona, but I think as of right now, this established to the fans who, like you, who don't have the knowledge of who Matt Cardona is from the indie scene and who he was as Zack Ryder, it's like, oh, we shouldn't think of this guy as a threat to the WWE championship.
Right. I mean, he's coming, he's like, you know, immediately gotten beat down, I feel like twice now, I think, or might be more than that. But yeah, no, I feel like he's come in just to lose, you know, to be a guy. Yeah. We need somebody to eat a pin. We don't have somebody on Raw to eat pins right now. Let's bring this guy in. So,
well, and like I said, I've seen it in the past before. That's why it strikes me as like the, you know, when it feels like people shouldn't be losing and they start losing a good bit, sometimes there's something on the horizon in terms of change. And so it could be to where he takes a few more losses, and then character-wise, storyline-wise, he realizes that being a good guy no longer works for me, so I got to switch something up, and now I got to be a bad guy, so I can do what's best for me. And then you can just start really establishing him as a heel again, because you don't have a ton of heels over there on SmackDown in terms of.
He got thrown to the steps by Kit Wilson, man. I mean, when Kit Wilson comes out, cuts a promo to get cut short by Jacob Fatu, who kicks him out, and now he's calling for Cody. So, I mean, dude, I told you, I think the other week, I really want to see like Fatu in some sort of like weird detective story trying to figure out who beat the heck out of him, because I really want that. I really want some noir Jacob like backstage story, or you know, pre-filmed vignettes running around trying to figure out.
I don't think that's anywhere in the realm of his character, but I tell you what I would love to see. I would love to see that theme, but maybe have someone as the detective. Like, what if Kit Wilson is the detective that starts to try to look for all the
We're gonna
clues
find out
and
who was so toxic against you, Jacob.
right? Imagine attacking someone behind their back. How toxic is that? That's toxic masculinity, and I've got to get to the bottom of this. And then you can make a whole bunch of backstage vignettes and pre-recorded segments with Kit Wilson, and he's so funny, like pretty deadly. They're hilarious, and so he's going to be funny in these scenes. And then all of a sudden you have him showing up, and he's showing up at the wrong times and whatever. And maybe you could even have it into built into where he shows up at the wrong times and then gets beaten up by people. And then while he's like laid out somewhere, maybe he hears something he's not supposed to hear. And that
Right?
gives him, there's a whole bunch of ways you
He'll
could go in
never
it.
think to look in the freezer.
Yeah. And then when it's all said and done, you can have Kit Wilson be the one who reveals it. And it doesn't even have to lead to anything big for Kit Wilson. He got to be ingrained and interwoven into main event storylines. And sometimes for guys like Kit Wilson who maybe won't get a shot at the WWE championship in their career, that can be huge for a guy and their new character in terms of getting them over. So you've got me with the whole detective storyline, but I think Jacob is a little too serious for it. And so I think that somebody like Kit or another comedic character, like walking around in the hat and with the magnifying glass backstage, I think could be, especially on a 3-hour show, I think could be a pretty funny bit that would really get over really quick.
All right, all right. So, what do you think now about Jacob and Cody? Like you said, you think Cody could lose. Like I said, we're going to get him now Saturday Night Main Event. It's now that's official. We're going to get that. But you think Cody's going to drop this against Jacob? Is that what you think?
I think there's a good possibility he could. I think that when you look at who needs the momentum more, it's probably Jacob. And what way to get him some great momentum than to take down Cody Rhodes? And look, I think that Cody's entrance into the Rumble is going to be all about last resort, last resort. This is my last chance. And what better way to feed into that desperate, nature of the situation than have him eat another loss to Jacob right before the Rumble. And then, like you said, you thought he was declaring as the number one spot. I think we might be headed there, because imagine he loses the title, he loses to Jacob Fatu on Saturday night's main event. The next SmackDown right before Saudi Arabia, who knows? Drew might come out and like taunt him a little bit. And he's like, "You really think you're going to win the Rumble? You really think blah, 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 blah." And then maybe in a fit of, because we've seen Cody making some poor decisions lately and, maybe saying things that he wouldn't say 6 months ago. Maybe he does say, "You know what? I am going to be in the Rumble and I'm going to be the number one entrant and I'm going to run the gauntlet and win the whole thing." And that's what is Cody's detriment. As if maybe he would have pulled the 21 spot and only had 9 people, 9 extra entrants to go through, and would have been a lot more fresh. He probably could have won the whole thing. But now coming out at 1, and then imagine if he's eliminated by Jacob Fatu as well. Like, I just think that, yeah, there's a really good possibility he could drop the loss. And I think that maybe it's what should happen in order to play into the desperate nature of Cody trying to get back to that championship, because he ever talks about that in terms of the downfall of a babyface character into them eventually turning heel. It's always about the chase. And for Cody, it was bigger than the chase. It was about his father's legacy, getting the championship, the only championship that his dad never got to hold, that his dad never got. And then you get it and then you lose it, but you get it again. And now you're like, all great, but then you lose it out of nowhere when you didn't expect, in controversial fashion. And now you've run through all these options. And for the first time in 3 years, we're looking at Cody and he has no answer in terms of how he's going to get that championship back. He lost his title. He lost to Jacob. He lost the Rumble. And then I guess you would play into Elimination Chamber. But I really want to
Right.
see, you talked about it earlier. I really want to see a situation where we finally get Cody and Randy at WrestleMania. No title, no
Hmm.
championship on the line, just Cody and Randy, where Cody has just basically not, I don't want to look at it as Cody embracing his dark side. I think that will come eventually. I think that if you compare it to Star Wars, you compare it to Anakin, right? I think we're in the very early stages of the little bit of like poof in Anakin's brain of a little bit of darkness. And that's what we're starting to see. A little bit, he's a little snappier. He's got a little more attitude. He's got a little less patience and a little less.
Has he killed the Sand People yet?
He hasn't done that, and he hasn't
Okay.
killed any kids yet either. So hasn't done that. But I think that eventually, in terms of the Anakin to Vader switch, I think we'll get that eventually. But I think as of right now, it's just like this is Anakin finding out that he's not gonna. What was it in that one movie where he met with the council and he was supposed to be?
Yeah, he wasn't
I
gonna
don't.
be master. Yep.
Yeah, and this is Anakin finding out that he's not gonna be master, and so this is that little bit of like, well, I gave them all the best I had. Like this is, and Cody hears the boos from the crowd. He's like, I did the best I could, and they're still booing me.
Right.
And so I think we're seeing the cogs turn, but in terms of like a 1 to 10 scale, I think we're only on like a 2. I think we got a long ways to go, but I think this is the beginning of it. And I think what would really be the catalyst to jump it from like a 5 to like a 9 would be if he lost to Randy at WrestleMania and really had to sit with that loss to his mentor all these years later. And so I think that's where we're headed with Cody, but all that to round back to your original question of, yeah, I think not only do I think he could lose this match against Jacob, I think he should lose this match against Jacob.
No, I think he has to, because if Jacob loses, what are we doing? You know, like Cody right now, as you said, Cody can lose 3-4 matches in a row. We know who Cody Rhodes is, you know, like he's not going away anytime soon. We're not worried about him not being main card material. And in a lot of ways, it is better probably if he loses 3 or 4 matches in a row. So I'm with you 100% on that. I wonder, you know, like, does that mean that Drew is going to defend whoever of the 4? Like I said, we'll get there in a point. But if Jacob wins, I see Jacob and Drew going at it for the title. Or if I see Jacob trying to take the title off somebody, I see it being Drew. So I see Drew still having the title. So I wonder if that's a signal that, like I said, Drew's not going to give it up at the Rumble. You know what I mean? That Drew's going to hold on to it out of this 4-way. We'll get to that here in a second. But that's my one thing. If Jacob wins, that I feel like that means Drew's winning. You know, so I feel like that's kind of a foregone conclusion now. And now I don't want to watch wrestling.
Hey, I tell you, man, you start to connect dots, and then storylines just start to make sense the second they start. You can like, oh well, this is probably going to happen, and then this, and then this.
Well, let's get to the other 2 matches then real quick before we get too far gone. The third match was between who did have the third match? Oh, Priest and Solo. I almost forgot this match because for me this is the one match that didn't matter in some ways. Like once Solo Sikoa came out with the lantern, I was more thinking about the Wyatt 6 100%. I don't know about you. And for me, that storyline's interesting. I like these. I like they've gotten me like 3 times now, and I'm sure they've done it a ton more. But at first, it was like what Drew taking the friendship bracelet off of Punk, right? And then it was the Shula Fala, you know, Bronson taking the shoes off of Roman, and now it's Solo taking the lantern from Uncle Howdy from the Wyatt 6. So for me, that's the much more interesting storyline. I don't know what Solo was doing in this match. What do you think? 'Cause I mean, that's how it ended anyways. It ended up being the Wyatt 6 showing up and helping Priest out technically, and Priest winning. And we're so over Priest and Drew, right? We're over that, right? So tell me about this match, because for me, this is the one match that in some ways didn't make any sense, I guess. You know, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we just talked a second ago about wrestling math, and I could tell off rip that this was I don't want to say I called the match exactly step for step. I didn't do that. But in terms of looking at what both guys are doing in their characters, Amy and Priest just wrapped up a big feud with Aleister Black that we all agree went way too long. And Solo and the MFTs are still ingrained in the Wyatt 6. So that kind of told me, with nothing going on with Damian Priest, he was probably going to win this, because worst case scenario, then you give Damian something to do at Saturday night's main event, and he doesn't have to win to become #1 contender, and then he can still go be in the Rumble. But Solo has made it clear, especially with the lantern, that this was not over with the Wyatt 6. So they still got a lot of room to work over there, and it felt like Damian had nothing else going on. So it kind of felt like I didn't know exactly in the match how they were going to get there. And now with hindsight, it makes sense how they did it. But I kind of knew that Damian was going to win this one. It felt pretty obvious. But no, you're right. I am a little bit over the Drew and Damian thing, but in some ways, that's almost the perfect match to throw into a random title defense at the very beginning, because Damian won the feud. And I mean, again, we're tired of it, but they did put on some pretty good matches.
No, they did.
And so
they were pretty brutal.
It would be a good match for his first title defense. Damian probably wouldn't win.
Right,
and
and that would
Drew
give you
comes
that would
out.
give us the Drew Jacob easily then, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I even see a situation where I Matt, we'll talk more about it, but I really don't know that it's gonna be Drew and Fatu at all.
Okay.
Maybe at Elimination Chamber, but I think come WrestleMania last week, my tune has changed a little since last week. I thought maybe we might be headed for a triple threat, but with everything that happened on SmackDown with Jacob and Cody, I think that'll be resolved a little sooner, and then
Mhm.
there'll really be no means for a triple threat down the line. And so I think that Jacob, Cody, and Drew, I have all going different directions than I did last week for WrestleMania. So yeah, we'll talk more about that. But in terms of this whole match, yeah, it felt pretty cookie cutter. I felt I knew what was going to happen. I think Damien has the least amount of a percentage to win the match next week at Saturday night's main event. To be honest with you,
Okay. Okay. So like I said, so we got 3 in. We got Randy, we got Trick, we got Priest. Now we got Sammy versus Ilya Dragunov, and this match to end the night was a banger, dude. This was a banger. And look, those two guys, like they put on a great match when they did the US championship defense, title defense match. I mean, or open tournament, that was a fantastic match. This might have been better, dude. This might have been, I mean, match of the night for me easily, but just a total banger match, man. What'd you think of this Sammy Ilya match, man?
no surprises at all. Two of the best in the business today going at it on in the main event of again 3 hour SmackDown, which with the amount of talent and the way that they're ingraining their storylines just feels again the commercials are whatever. We can talk about the commercials all day long, but in
Well, they
terms
did
of
it
the
so well
pacing,
last week where they front loaded and they let it go long. It's like you
yeah,
know
I
how to
know,
do it, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was just a special case because of the main event or whatever.
Right, right.
But we could talk about the commercials all day long, but in terms of like the actual content and product that we got from the characters that we're invested in, there's so much good on SmackDown and why it's 3 hours. And again, you said usually we would get these matches spread out over 2 or 3 weeks. And because we have 3 hours, we can do that now because we talked about these 4 matches, but that wasn't even all the action we got.
Right.
So, look, no surprise from these two. Ilya has literally put on multiple match of the year contenders. So has Sammy. My favorite match of all time, not saying it's the best, favorite and best are different, but my favorite match of all time has Sami Zayn in it. And so, look, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at the winner either. I thought Sammy needed to win this. Like you said, hard to see Ilya drop in 2 losses in a row, but also really hard to see Sammy drop in 2 losses in a row to Ilya Dragunov.
Right, right.
So look, I think every guy that lost in these 4 matches easily goes on to the Rumble. And I think that Sammy is the most interesting case out of all the 4 of these guys because I think that Sammy has the best chance to win the Rumble, but also because in large part because it's in Saudi Arabia and he deserves it. But if he wins this Fatal 4-Way, I think Sammy's got a really good shot to beat Drew for that title at Royal Rumble. So it's like, it's tough, man. Do I see Sammy going into WrestleMania as WWE champion, or do I see him winning the Rumble and going in as the underdog? The underdog story makes more sense, but also I don't want to. When I look at the rest of these people in the field, Randy makes the most sense in terms of winning the Fatal 4-Way, going on to face Drew. He's the biggest babyface that doesn't need a Rumble win, that can go have a good title match against Drew. They have a lot of history. You don't need to build up a big feud and doesn't have to go multiple PLEs because they've done it so many times before. So Randy makes sense. But also, Sammy makes the most sense in my brain to go on and win those. So it's tough, man. But in terms of this match, yeah, I thought it was excellent. Match of the year contender already. And man, dude, they're both so good. They're both so good.
But once it ends, who shows up but Trick Williams for a quick
surprised me, dude.
Trick shot on Sammy to end the night. And that is who I think might have the best chance of winning the Fatal 4-Way. The only heel. He's the only heel in that match, right? Other 3 are baby faces. Technically, I guess Priest is a baby face, kind of, and Orton now.
He's a baby face.
Still is a baby face right now. But the other 3 are baby faces across the board. Who's the one villain? It's Trick, man. And as we said, look at that rocket. Look at that rocket they're put on his back. They tried to put that rocket on Jay's back, and it backfired. You want to find out what Trick Williams is made of? Give him a main event against Damian Priest not Damian Priest, against Drew McIntyre at the Rumble and see what happens,
I wouldn't be shocked I wouldn't be shocked if next week we get two singles matches where it's Sammy and Trick and Randy and Damian, just some like little exhibition matches going in. But also, you know, this goes back a few weeks ago to Sammy telling Trick like, "Hey, you're gonna get humbled, and somebody's gonna humble you," and maybe that stuck with Trick, and you know, kind of stuck with him the wrong way. He needed to make himself known. But I think that when I look at, I don't think that Trick has the worst odds in this match. I think that's probably Damian, but I think Trick is second to lowest.
Yeah, no,
I don't
I
know.
think you're right. I think like if there's Vegas had like betting for this, Trick would be the second farthest long shot, you know. But
Yeah.
I think, like you said, I think Sammy fits better in the Rumble. So Randy's the only other one, and I just don't know what right now with Randy. You know, like I just don't know. I got nothing on what, because we've been trying to predict what they're doing with Randy Orton for like the past year and a half, and we haven't been right. You know, so Randy's the hardest one I feel like to predict. He's probably the odds-on favorite to get it. But then, I mean, like I said, I guess it depends. And do we find out that Randy's the one who kicked in Fatu's teeth? Because I feel like whoever kicked in Fatu's teeth, you know.
Ooh, that'd be crazy because Randy does have the punt kick,
Right.
you know,
So then
and
then we find out that, then it makes sense. Then we got Randy and Fatu for the title. But man, I just don't want to take it off Drew that fast. You know, I think that's my one thing. But as we said, it right now, it feels like things are unpredictable and a little chaotic. So you could see Drew dropping it for sure. And if Drew drops it, he drops it to Randy. I don't think he drops it to anybody else. Doesn't drop it to Priest, doesn't drop it to Trick, doesn't drop it to Sammy. I feel like all three of those guys do not win. I feel like Randy is the only one that he drop it to. So
oh, Matt,
yeah,
you just made me create a fantasy booking in my head, dude. Now I know what I want. Now I know what I want for WrestleMania. I want Drew, Randy, and Cody in a triple threat. That's what I need.
For what? For the title or for what?
Yeah, for the title.
Well, where's Fatu come in? All right.
That's what I was telling you earlier. I don't think that Fatu is in the world title picture for WrestleMania.
Okay.
I think that Fatu is going to be doing something different. I don't know exactly what yet. I don't think that Fatu's WrestleMania program is going to be known for us until after Royal Rumble. I think that right now roads are pointing to Rumble, and they're figuring out the stuff with Fatu and Cody. And I think that maybe last week I was bought into Fatu and Cody being a little bit more long term than it actually is going to be. I think it's going to be something short term that they nip it in the bud quick.
Mm-hmm.
The way I want it to happen, now that I'm thinking about it. Sorry, Sammy. This does not involve you going to WrestleMania for the championship. I'm sorry, Sammy. This is what I want now. I think Randy should lose to Drew. I think Randy probably has the best odds. And if you really want Sammy to win this and have the title match in Saudi Arabia, but lose, that'd be a great way to get Drew some heat. And then maybe you get Sammy into the Rumble. He goes in, you can have him like, I know I fought earlier in the night, but there's no way I'm missing out on an opportunity. And have Sammy pull double duty. It wouldn't be the first time. Have him pull double duty. And if Sammy wins, have him go after CM Punk. Give me Sammy and Punk at WrestleMania. And for the World Heavyweight title, that would be nasty. But for this scenario, for this situation, I want to see Randy and Cody and Drew at WrestleMania in a triple threat for that title. Maybe Cody or Randy wins Elimination Chamber, and then Cody. I think it'd be a little cheesy, but again, we've seen it done before. I think Cody would cause so much havoc that they would just kind of throw him into the triple threat match. Like he would be relentless. He wouldn't give up. He would attack Randy and Drew every time their backs are turned. Maybe he would only attack Drew, and then I think there would be a lot of tension between Cody and Randy going into the match, but eventually Cody would get added in. And I think in the match, whole match happens, blah, 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 blah. The go home sequence, when we're getting ready, the match is about to be over. I think that you have Randy out of the shot and the camera's focused on Cody and Drew. Cody gets Drew into the crossroads. He does the spot where he hits 3 crossroads because that's what he does when he's trying to topple a big enemy. And as soon as he hits that 3rd crossroads, I think that Randy Orton should come in from off camera, off scene, and just kill Cody with a punt kick straight to the fucking head. Sorry, straight to the head, dude.
And then his teeth fly out too like chiclets.
Maybe his teeth don't fly out. Maybe they do.
And Fatu goes, "It was you."
Yeah, maybe so. And then that could be Randy's first title defense. Because then Drew loses the title without being pinned, because then Randy would pin Cody. We have the shock moment of Randy Orton punt kicking Cody. And then we have Randy, who is now is he 15? He would either be a 15 or 16 time world champion then.
Yeah, I think he'd be
And
15. Yeah.
I think he'd be 15. So then you could play up the whole storyline of him chasing Cena.
Right.
And then you could also write Cody off of TV for a while after eating that punt, because that punt kick would be deadly. And so you can write Cody off of TV for a while. Then you have Randy. He can defend against Jacob Fatu. Maybe that's where we pay off the attack storyline, because now Randy's a heel and it makes sense. We don't have to like have this big shocking turn. And then we can be like, Randy attacked Jacob, and then Jacob can get his shot. He probably wouldn't win it, but it would be a fun little 2 or 3 match segment. And then eventually you could work Cody back into the storyline where he comes back at like SummerSlam. Funny enough, I think that even if Cody came back, he would still lose. I think he would lose the rematch too. And I think that's going to be the spiral for Cody, is not only getting turned on by his mentor, but then losing to his mentor again just a few
Right.
months later. I think would be the ultimate spiral for Cody. And they'd come full circle WrestleMania next year, which would be WrestleMania in Saudi. I think Cody would be a full-on heel come WrestleMania in Saudi. So again, we would have to do a few things to get there, but no matter how we get there, I've officially convinced myself that I want to see Cody, Drew, and Randy in a triple threat at WrestleMania. That's what I need. I need it injected into my veins.
There you go, Paul. Give us a call. Let us know. We'll help you out. All right, what do y'all think? Leave a comment. Like I said, Casey just gave some fancy booking there. What do you think is going to happen with this fatal 4-way match to face Drew? And then do you think they're going to beat Drew? Like I said, leave something in the comments. Let us know what you think is going to happen. Really curious to see how you might fancy book this. All right, rest of the show, Casey. We got the women. Like I said, the women, not leaving the women out, just giving them kind of their own space. We start with the not friends.
Spotlight.
We start with the not friends. That's what I call them. Charlotte and Alexa, not friends. A little backstage drama. And then about Charlotte not coming or being sick last week. Was she really sick? And then as Alexa turning things on her on Charlotte just a turn, because we get Nia and Lash Legend then coming in trying to insert themselves in the conversation. Charlotte's not having any of it. Then we go out and we get a tag team match. Not friends versus Julia and Kiana James. Kind of went how I figured that match would go. But I'm just curious what you think, Casey. This drama that's building we've been talking about waiting for Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair to explode. Do you think a powder cake's been lit there, or is this still just like, are they misdirecting us?
Well, I think that there's definitely something there. I think that we should definitely be on the lookout, because just like I told you earlier about Cody and how we're just seeing the, on a scale of 1 to 10, we're just at a 2. I think we're probably about the same level with Alexa and Charlotte. I think that the tension is being teased right now, but we're not quite there. And I think that again, sometimes when you've just been everybody that's watching this or listening to this that's watched wrestling for a long time will know what I mean. When sometimes you just have this like sixth sense about, okay, it's coming soon. And with Alexa and Charlotte, obviously they started teasing the tension, and then sometimes they do this and then they throw them a little win, to kind of turn people off the trail, for a while. And then they'll do something that does a little more tension. And right now it seems like everything's okay, but then there'll be something that causes a little more tension, and then a little more, and then a little more. And then eventually something big will just break the camel's back. It'll be the final straw. And I think that Nia and Lash kind of giving Charlotte some advice, whatever, kind of putting it in the audience's brain that this could happen. Something could happen. I think it's actually a little bit of a misdirection with Charlotte. I don't think that Charlotte would be the one to turn. I think it would actually be Alexa.
Really? You think Alexa turned on Charlotte? All right.
Just because I think that Charlotte is the obvious one to turn, right?
Right.
She's been heel more recently. It would make sense for her. And it's like, I don't know. This is the first time in 10 years, maybe, that the crowd is actually cheering Charlotte. Like, why not capitalize on that and let her have her be the sympathetic baby face that got turned on by the one woman that she trusted in her whole career, in Alexa Bliss? She didn't want to trust Alexa, but Alexa worked her way in and gained Charlotte's trust. Imagine if that woman stabbed you in the back. Like, how over would she be with the crowd? The crowd would love her. She'd be super sympathetic. It'd be the most over that I think Charlotte's probably ever been in her whole career. And I think that maybe we're working towards a Charlotte and Alexa WrestleMania match. That'd probably be my most ideal.
Oh, wow. You're moving it that fast then, technically. You got it blown up by WrestleMania?
Well, look, if we're looking at an elimination chamber multi-women tag team match, I don't think they win that. And that, like I said, that could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. What's elimination chamber? Let me check the date on that. Let me see. Elimination chamber 2020. Let me see how many February 28th. We have
Yeah,
so
dude.
much time.
There's so many PLEs before WrestleMania, it feels like. Between that and Saturday Night main events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, but that even lends more towards my point. We have so much time to pack so much storyline into those 5.5, 6 weeks, that by the time they take that big loss at Elimination Chamber, they'll still have, because that's February 28th. WrestleMania is not for 2 months after that.
Yeah, no, it's kind of that is a big gap. Like to put like Saturday Night Main Event, Royal Rumble, and Elimination Chamber. I guess there's a month between those two, but yeah, then like you said, there's like a 2-month gap.
Yeah.
Nothing in March.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of time.
I guess they don't want to compete with March Madness, I guess, or something, right? I
mean, and I think they're doing a big European tour in March. I think they're gonna go overseas a lot, so they'll probably have a lot of events that aren't televised, but we'll be getting a lot of shots from those overseas, if I'm remembering correctly. Because I know early April, I was actually going to talk to you about that, Matt. Early April, they're going to be in Houston, I think. So going to be pretty close to us. We might need to take a little trip over to H-Town. Go catch a Monday Night Raw.
Like I said, we're gonna find a way to get to a couple things. We'll see if we can get to WrestleMania, So, or Money in the Bank this year. Money in the Bank this year
coming to New Orleans should be.
Well, like I said, WrestleMania in Vegas. Like I said, we just go stay with my parents. So.
True. Yeah, we'll be trying to figure some things out. We'll have more information in the upcoming days. We actually have some big news coming out in 2 days. We'll make a bigger announcement in 2 days, because we've been told that we can't say anything. But 2 days we will be able to say something. So major announcement coming up about that.
Yeah. So probably during our Raw review, our next Raw review, we'll have the announcement for sure. So
yeah.
Predictions in the comments.
Ooh. All right, but so yeah, I could see this blowing up by WrestleMania with Charlotte and Alexa. I think we have so much time in between. So many. I mean, just between Elimination Chamber and Raw, we have like 7 SmackDowns. That's a lot of SmackDowns, having them at 3 hours each to make some storyline changes that could lead to them breaking up. But again, I told you last week, and we both agree here, that on the other side of this multi-women's tag situation that we've got going on, half these teams probably won't be together anymore.
Right.
So we could see a lot of these coming to fruition at WrestleMania. We could set the record this year for most singles women's matches for a WrestleMania weekend. I don't think that would be crazy to say, with how many great storylines we've got. Not only great storylines we've got going on, but Matt, you and I have talked about it a lot with how deep this women's roster is. I mean, the roster as a whole, but the women's roster has never been as deep and as good as it is now. So we could see a lot of women's matches getting paid off at WrestleMania. And soon
we're going to see a lot of these ladies coming back from injury or other things, and that's going to affect like the main title scenes. I think a lot of the main title scenes have been put on pause, as we'll talk about here with Jordan Grace here in a second. We talk about her and Chelsea Green, but it feels like, what's going on with Stephanie and her title defenses? We don't know. I don't think Jay's defended the title at all since she's won it, So, I think right now the women's tag division is the main focus, So we'll see going forward. But at the end of this, Lash Legend and Nia come then after Alexa and Charlotte win, and they come beat them down. Kind of expected after the pre-match promo, but man, Nia lost some weight. It looks like I said, you talking about how Jacob looks like he's slimmed down. Yeah, no, she looks, so. Look out for a dangerous Nia Jax, man. She's looking almost Raquel size, So, I mean, like I said, she's been
putting in the hard work. She looks great. She's in great shape.
This women's title card scene, like I said, when all these tag teams break up, dude. I mean, like I said, I can't wait to see Rhea and Raquel and Nia all going at it. However it all works out, you know what I mean? It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun. And to get Charlotte back in there, get Charlotte and Nia going. I mean, it's just like I said, women's wrestling has never been so healthy and so enjoyable as it is right now. On the other side, we had Chelsea Green and Jordan Grace going at it. Kind of, again, an expected, result. What do you think? You know, I mean, you know more about Jordan Grace than I do. So tell, because she's another one who's gotten the recent call up, right?
Yeah, and another one that's gotten the rocket strapped to her the second she came in. We talked about Trick earlier, but Jordan Grace getting catapulted right up to the main event scene the second she gets here. I think I would have probably preferred Jordan Grace to be in the U.S. title picture first before going to the world title with Jade. But at the same time, who do you have to go after Jade? So it kind of makes sense. And Jordan Grace is no scrub. She's established herself in TNA long before coming to WWE. Did her thing in NXT. Some people argue maybe she should have won more in NXT, but I won't really give an opinion there. I don't watch enough NXT to justify her character or not justify her character there. No, I mean, look, I think it makes sense. Triple H is high on Jordan Grace. He has not shied away from that. He loves her. But you talked a second ago about Nia. You should look into Jordan Grace's fitness career. She came from, I won't talk about her figure or anything like that. I don't like to do that kind of stuff. But someone who has really put in the work in terms of fitness and the gym and getting herself healthier. She went from having a shape that she didn't really love. She's come out and been outspoken about that. She didn't love the way her body looked. And she put in the hard work, changed her diet, and she even competed in I'm sorry if I'm wrong. I think she competed in the Arnold Classic in Australia. So she like went through a whole like bodybuilding phase that she actually has
Right.
talked about. She's like, I'm never doing that again. It was too much. It was too much on my body. But now you see how in such in great shape she is. And her husband, who is a wrestler, Jonathan Grisham, who I think is actually on the shelf with a neck injury right now. He's the same way. They call him Mighty Mouse because he's like short, stout, and like huge. They're both just massive people. And so, look, I'm not shocked that she's coming up to the main roster and getting the rocket as fast as she is, especially like we said when Jade doesn't really have anybody else. I just worry that it may be too quick for the main roster fans, and that maybe if she does get the title, her reign might fall a little flat. But I don't know, man. I can't decide if I want her to win it or not.
I mean, I feel like she's being set up to lose right now. I mean, I feel like
Right.
they're bringing her in, but we're not taking the time. Jade's not losing it in her first defense. Like I said,
That's
she
another
hasn't
thing I was
defended
gonna
yet.
say.
You know, she's not losing it. From what I've heard, Jordan Grace is very familiar with losing title opportunities or whatever. Like I heard somebody
Yeah.
joke that they brought her up just because she's used to being in this position, which, like I said, made me wonder about Matt Cardona the same way. They bring him up just to lose. Do I think that's going to be the case though for Jordan Grace the whole forever? No. But right now, like I said, until that women's side gets healthy, as we said, we're waiting for Bianca, we're waiting for Naomi, we're waiting for these ladies to come back and make things interesting before we take it off Jade. But you got to give Jade something to do, right? And you can't have her wrestle Chelsea Green. Like, let's be honest here. Like, that would be almost a squash match, right? I mean, unless like the Secret Hermits got involved like the second and it was just a no DQ and it ended up being like 1v3. Like I mean, you can't have her do Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
Same with Julia.
Chelsea,
I feel like she squashed Julia as well,
well, I think Julia would stand a better chance, but I think they're both
Right.
heels right now, so it just wouldn't make too much sense. But Chelsea, I could see winning the women's title on like you said, maybe a no disqualification match where Jade gets knocked out and Chelsea gets knocked out at the same time, and she just falls on top of her, and then she wakes up and the ref's like, "Here, you won."
Right.
Chelsea's like, What? Just and they run off with the title, something like that. And then I could see Chelsea like just dropping it the next week. Honestly,
Yeah, dropping it right back to Jade or something. Yeah, or getting into okay, no, here you go, Bianca, you have it. Yeah,
right. But yeah, we got to give Jordan Grace something to do. We got to give Jade something to do, and Jordan Grace makes the most sense. I think you're right. I think that unfortunately it is setting Jordan Grace up to lose, but also it's really early in her main roster run. She's got plenty of time after this, and you need Jade to establish that reign over someone. Again, she hasn't defended it once since she won it, and you need her to beat somebody.
especially because they were building Jade up so much before all these injuries and pregnancies and whatnot happened. I mean, like they were building Jade to be like she's supposed to be Storm. I mean, she's supposed to be Storm. So what's fun? I saw. Speaking of Jade, I saw an interview on YouTube where she interviews Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. And it's a really funny interview because she's totally dropped kayfabe. She's like, "No, I'm supposed to be a bad guy."
That's so funny. I need to find this.
It's really kind of awkward. Yeah. It's about the new Ben Affleck, Matt Damon movie, which is good. I still have not watched Stranger Things, but I watched that movie because it was part of my crime cop hour. So I gotta get my cop shows.
Well, you would probably have to watch that what's the name of this new movie?
The Rip.
You would probably have to watch The Rip like 6 times before you got to the full length of Stranger Things
Right. No,
season
exactly.
5,
Like I
so
didn't even watch one episode of Stranger Things from the time it took me to watch The Rip.
yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
You're about halfway through the finale.
And I'm waiting for like the next episode of Stranger Things to come out like everyone else. So I don't think
think you probably should stop holding your breath on that one, buddy. The documentary is already out. We watched the documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I don't want to give you any predisposed opinions to have on the show, but knowing how you are in terms of like your film knowledge and the way that you can objectively look at film and TV, I really don't think you're going to like the writing of the final season. I won't say much more than that, but I don't think you're going to be a big fan of where they go.
I mean, look, AI just, like the accusations and everything. Like it just hit one of my favorite artists, right? He got hit with an accusation and he claimed he didn't do it. He's like, my art, he goes, I'm drawing. He goes, sometimes the thing doesn't look the same. And it's just, God, I want to believe him. But then you look at it, it's like he's drawn like the mask of the character like changes in 4 different panels, and it's just it's tough, I mean, I don't know, and there's no way to we're even less going to be able to tell in the future. You know what I mean? What is and what isn't. So it's just a rock and a hard place right now. Because if you don't use it, other people are and getting away with it. There's probably a ton of people right now like making AI comic book. Like I think I saw like some book won an award and it was completely AI written. Like and like then the author like yeah no, it came out eventually that it was AI written. But what are you gonna do?
You're an educator. You're a professor, so you get to deal with people using AI every day.
Yeah,
But I've seen a lot of stories lately about like whole classrooms being flagged for AI usage when they didn't use AI. And so it's getting even harder to tell now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because,
you can't tell. You don't know what to believe. I mean,
yeah.
and then like how much was AI like technically? I mean, when you just had a simple spell checker. What about these people who couldn't spell but they could write? Like, oh, now you can spell. Like, was that cheating? I don't know. So, anyways,
right. Well,
that's all.
I had a professor. I had a professor that you know personally, and she told me whenever I was taking her class, she said, "Look, when you're writing papers for me, turn Grammarly off.
Mhm.
I know that you use it for everything, and it's great, and it can be used in bad ways." But she was like, "I love Grammarly, and I think it's great for people to like. I want your." She's like, she said something along the lines. I think she even mentioned you. She said, "Look, if you want to write your sentences well, go take Matt Dye. I just want to know that you know the information that you're writing about."
Right.
And so if the sentence looks a little wonky, I'll put 2 and 2 together, but turn Grammarly off because it will flag you for AI. And
Mhm.
like I've seen people getting flagged for using an M dash. And apparently that's a huge indicator for AI flags that's an M dash. Regular people don't use M dashes. And it's like, well, some people do though.
Right.
So
Right.
it harder to tell every day. And people learn to work around it more and more every day. Like I saw someone who got flagged for AI for their paper. And the professor was like, look, I don't do this, but I'll give you another shot. Write the paper again. So they got AI to make another paper and then put the whole paper into AI and said, make this pass an AI checker. And then turned it in and it passed the AI checker. And so it's like, what do you do about it?
Right. What do you do? So that's all to say that Jade interviewed Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. AI definitely didn't write that interview because she knew about as much about them as they knew about the WWE. So it was just a funny, awkward interview. She called Unreal, I think, Untold. She's like, she didn't even know the name. And WWE put this out. They did. So yeah, no, check out the Jade Cargill interview of Ben Affleck.
I am going to watch that after we record this pod.
It's less than 10 minutes, but it's just Ben Affleck's trying to save the whole thing. It's great. Like Matt Damon knows nothing about wrestling. Jade knows very little about them. So yeah, anyways.
That's so funny.
Next, all right, so finish up a couple other shenanigans going on the show. We had Johnny Gargano playing with Fraxium and Axiom's mask still. Are you having fun with this? Because I'm having fun with this.
Yeah. I mean, it's fine. None of these guys are involved in any title scenes, and again, 3-hour show. You're gonna have some backstage shenanigans, and I love it when people get TV time. And I think all these guys are super talented. And would I love to see them more involved in matches out in the ring? Sure.
I guess I'm surprised we haven't seen Fraxium out there in a while. Because they I thought they were going to be the
Well, I actually heard some backstage rumblings, some little rumors through the dirt sheets that apparently Nathan Frazier's in some hot water because he hurt someone on a move. He was apparently it's Kit Wilson, Elton Prince. Elton
Mm-hmm.
Prince is the one that had to go have neck surgery. Well, he broke his neck off a move from Nathan Frazier. And so the rumor backstage is that it got Frazier a little heat, so they are cooling him off by taking him off TV for a while. And it's not unheard of. That kind of stuff has made it through the backstage rumblings before. Don't know if it's true. I don't ever like to put any stock into rumors and, hearsay or whatever. But that is kind of circulating around the rumor mill right now, is that Frazier and Fraxium have been off TV a little more because of that incident. So don't know if that's true or not, but that's just what I've heard.
All right. Well, hopefully, like you said, hopefully they get back, because I mean, like I said, they were one of the most exciting tag teams out there last year. I feel like, in terms of just being new to the WWE. I know not new to wrestling, but new to the WWE, and just high energy. I mean, like, my God, they fly around that ring, dude. Just fly. All right, and then, like I said, finishing up our show, but like I said, was in the middle of SmackDown, but finishing up our show. Carmelo Hayes and Leon Slater. This is yet again the open tournament, in a sense, or whatever, the open contender for the US Championship. Open challenge. That's what I was looking for. The open challenge.
I was going to let you just keep circulating words after open to see what you would land on eventually. But yeah, open challenge.
Open challenge. That's what we were looking for. Open challenge. And this was I said, I know nothing about Leon Slater. You know, I've never even seen him before. So for me, this was all new. I thought it was just because we were in London. I didn't know, but hey, look, I like Carmelo Hayes as the champion. This was a fun match. What do you know about Leon Slater? What do you think of this match?
I haven't seen too much of Leon Slater, but from what I have seen of him, incredibly impressed. I think the kid is crazy talented, and I think this was a really good way to get more eyes on him on the main event roster. And now a little bit of, I don't want to call it controversy, but he is a TNA talent, and WWE pulled him out of TNA dates to go work this European tour. And so a lot of people are calling into question, like, man, how much power does WWE have over TNA if they can just pull this guy off a TNA show? And so I don't know about any of that, but I think the kid's crazy talented. Also, Carmelo Hayes, as we already know. I knew this match, as soon as I saw that he came out, I knew this match was going to be a banger. And it was. I thought it was fantastic, really fun. This kid's
flowed really well with Carmelo. You know, I mean, they seem to have a really good, like, energy together, a really good fluidity together, like similar styles that really melded well together.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I 100% agree. I think that their styles mesh very well. I think that they're very similar in a lot of ways. And I think that sometimes when you're really similar to a guy, when you're 50% similar to a guy, it really allows that other 50% to shine, especially when you can flow so well. And they did a really good job of that. Carmelo it feels like he can work well with anybody, though. He's just so good. It's like every time he's out there, I mean, that's his thing, dude. He wants to put on the best match and the best performance. And he, if it wasn't for Sammy and Ilya, it might have been. And so, look, nothing but high praise for both of these two. I think they have such a bright future. Carmelo's a future world champion, if I could say that. Easy for me to say. And then Leon Slater, man, sky is legitimately the limit with that kid. If he's already this young, him and Javon Evans both, they're getting to rub shoulders with main eventers and guys on the main event scene. And I think that sky's the limit. I really like him. I think he's crazy talented. I thought it was a really fun match.
Yeah, no, look, Carmelo Hayes, look, like you said, he can probably go with anybody. I'm really glad that he's getting this push lately, because being in that tag team with the Miz just felt like he was kind of just languishing a little bit. Like, it felt like it made sense for a little bit, then it just felt like it dragged and dragged and dragged. So I'm really happy that, and then, like, I didn't know where he was going to go, because it seemed like the Miz kept stopping him anytime that he was going to go do something solo, and I'm glad that I feel like we finally broken away from the Miz, and moved on to other things. I mean, I don't know, the Miz can still come back. We can find out, like, whatever, next SmackDown, the Miz is challenging in the open challenge for the US Championship. I'm happy that he's on his own, So finally getting a little, see where it goes. I don't know if he's future US heavyweight, but I think he's a contender for sure. Looking forward to see the continued evolution of Carmelo Hayes.
Well, we got to go back and watch some NXT stuff when he was world champion down there. I think that might sway your opinion towards that a little more. But before we get out of here, let's run over some rumors through the rumor mill real quick. We'll do a rapid fire and just I'll read them out and get your very quick opinion. According to Wrestling Observer Newsletter, one of the reasons why WWE went ahead with Drew McIntyre defeating Cody Rhodes for the WWE Championship is because Rhodes felt that it would be fresher to go into this year's Mania chasing the title rather than defending it. McIntyre also said it would be, quote, pretty vocal that a title, or was said to be pretty vocal that a title change, quote, was the best thing for all concerned. So, looks like Cody and Drew basically on the same page that Drew being the champion and Cody chasing would be the best thing going into WrestleMania, which leads me to my second point that I'll get you to answer after that. Like we talked about last week, it was originally planned for Cody and Roman to go off against each other at WrestleMania, but the plans were changed within 48 hours leading up to the Three Stages of Hell match, and it was apparently Triple H that decided, again, quote, doing a Rhodes versus Reigns match for the third time in 4 years and spending months building to that direction would lead to audience fatigue, end quote. And so as a result of that, it now looks like it's either going to be Rhodes and Drew or Rhodes, Drew, and FATU in a triple threat at WrestleMania. So with all that now in your brain and everything we talked about earlier, what do you think about the direction going forward of all this?
Well, okay, I think first of all, I think it's great that both Cody and Drew acknowledge that this is the better way to do it. You know, like that just shows creative synergy behind the scenes. I know probably a part it was like Drew wanting it himself, like, yeah, dude, I want the championship, give it to me, you know. But Cody being humble enough to realize that, yeah, his reign was getting stale a little bit, you know. There wasn't really, it felt like he was a little bit bulletproof in some ways, you know, like you couldn't beat Cody Rhodes. How are you going to beat Cody Rhodes? So it was nice for him to finally drop it and, like, yeah, get to that chase again. Now, Triple H not wanting Roman Reigns, Cody Rhodes 3. Screw that, dude. I don't think that's boring. I don't think that's stale. I don't know. And I'll tell you what, I don't know when the Street Fighter movie's coming out. I don't know, like, it was slated for a summer release, a Christmas release, you know, but man, like, how do you not have Cody and Roman feuding as that movie's leading up? Like, we want to talk about synergy yet again, what they should have done technically with the Stranger Things Raw episode, you know, this could be great synergy. I mean, I hope it is. I hope they have like all sorts of crazy Street Fighter promos or something on WWE SmackDown as we get closer to the movie. Like, I hope Jason Momoa shows up. I want Jason Momoa in the ring, you know? How great would that be? That is a celebrity guest who would fit perfectly and looks like he could kick some butt in a wrestling ring, you know? Teach Momoa how to do a couple suplexes or something, and you're in good shape, you know? So I don't know. I guess it's when is the movie out? Because that's when I want to see Cody Roman 3 is closer to Street Fighter. What, you got the date for the movie? What do you got?
October 16th of this year.
All right, so maybe April's too early. You don't want to run, but I would not run Cody and Roman again because you think it's stale. Maybe it's stale this early, but man, then, like, I don't know, like what's a PLE in October? I mean, what do we got here? We got
okay, well, it might be different because rumors are coming out that TKO wants WWE to change a lot of the PLE names to get out of the Vince McMahon era. And so October could be different, but
WrestlePalooza. Like, look, the next, if I'm ESPN, God, like, think of that, about that synergy. ESPN, SmackDown, Street Fighter. You're leading up to it. You're leading up for Money in the Bank. Whoever the Money in the Bank, you put like a Street Fighter emblem on the Money in the Bank, you know, briefcase, you know, or something, you know, and like I said, right there, you got Money in the Bank right there in September, leading in to October. You know, I don't know. I just hope it feels like such a slam dunk. I hope they figure out a way to do that synergy, and that's what I want. Cody Roman 3 is around the time of that movie coming out. So that's what I'm thinking.
Street Fighter, I have to assume, will be the main sponsor for WrestlePalooza. So that way it's just plastered everywhere.
And it could be Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel's in October. So, you know.
Could be that too. I mean, maybe both, honestly. Maybe both.
I mean, like I said, I hope they do it. I hope they do better synergy than they did with Stranger Things, where it's just like, we're going to dress it up, play the music or whatever in the commercial breaks. Like, I mean, I hope, like I said, get Jason Momoa out there, get some of the other actors, you know, have something, have the dude playing Bison, David Dalshamay, I don't remember how to say his last name, but have that dude sitting at the announcer desk, have him with Gunther, like that, like Gunther should be playing Bison in a sense. Like he would have been a great M. Bison, you know? Or man, he would have been a great Saget, even if, but you'd have to shave his head and give him an eye patch, but he would have been a great Sagat, you know? So anyways, I'm totally against Triple H thinking that we're bored by Cody Roman 3. Now, do we need it for WrestleMania? Maybe not. Do I need it for Street Fighter? I think I might. That's all.
Well, I'm actually opposite of you. I think I would be a little bored with Roman
All right.
Cody 3 at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I think I'm like, I think you've talked me into the idea of loving the idea of them at WrestlePalooza or them at Crown Jewel with like Street Fighter, just like being the main sponsor and just pushing everything. And I'm down with that. And then you can show clips of them from the movie and whatever. So I'm all with that. But in terms of WrestleMania, yeah, I think I might be a little, even though they didn't do it last year, I think I might still be a little burnt out. I think I might need a little more time before I see Roman Cody again. According to these reports, Roman is the odd man out of the title scene for WrestleMania. He's not.
That's the thing right now. Like, who do you want to see Roman go against? Like,
I mean, he's a big baby face, so I mean, I don't know. I don't think he would do it again, but could they realistically do him and Brock again at WrestleMania?
Now we're going for like nostalgia in a sense. Him
and Braun Breaker, him and Gunther.
Him and Breaker would be interesting if you could find a way to get to him and Breaker. But I mean, like right now, I feel like he's feuded or had great matches with almost everybody who's in the main title card, except for maybe, like I said, Braun Breaker. Even Bronson Reed, he's had a little bit of that feud with, you know? So.
Well, Bronson is still doing the tribal thief thing. I mean, maybe they just run it back with them at WrestleMania.
They could.
You know,
they could.
It could be.
But you want to see that again?
I really don't know, man, because the thing with Roman is, with this being so fresh and him being taken out of these supposed plans, is we've got so much time to build something now. That,
right. No, we do have, and he's supposed to be back for the Rumble. Is I think the rumor is he's supposed to be back for the Rumble. So,
and he's the favorite according to my bookie right now to win the Rumble.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah. So he is the favorite to win it. I don't think he would be my pick, but
he's not mine. But I can't say he's that far down the list. You know?
No. I think he's top 3 in the Rumble at least. I think he's final 3, final 4. I wouldn't be shocked if it's like, it really depends on who makes it there with the title matches happening soon. But like Sammy, Braun Breaker, Roman, and Cody could be final 4. It could be realistic, I think. Yeah, somewhere in there. But I don't really know what happens with Roman. And again, these change of plans happened so recently that there are no rumors to go off of where he might be going next because it's so fresh. Just wanted to throw that out there. Keep an eye out on what might be happening with all that soon. And then last thing, really, nothing too crazy. Rey Mysterio dealing with another minor injury, but he should be back soon. Yeah.
All right.
Should be back soon, they say.
But that's okay because we're waiting for, like I said, the Ray Dom storyline, right? And we still, like I said, we still don't know how hurt Dom is, right? I mean,
no, we don't.
And but he has not vacated either title. So, you know, I mean, I'm assuming he's not that hurt, or WWE would have made him vacate the title. But I mean, it's a dirty Dom question. But I feel like we're getting closer to that now. Look, you've got to start running that Rey Mysterio retirement storyline soon. I mean, if he's getting hurt this much, I mean, he's got to be honest. We've all got to be honest. Like, Ray, let's take you out right. You know, let's do this right. Let's just not have you just disappear and like only able to wrestle like 2 months and then come back and get hurt again. You know, and so I mean, it's sad, but I mean, like that's where we're at, man. Like we're seeing these guys, and in some ways, it's awesome because we've never seen guys go this long before, right? I mean, we've never seen guys go to their 50s or whatever. So
yeah, I mean, CM Punk is 47, you know, so he's talking about once he's 50, he thinks he's done. 50 seems to be the generational cutoff of this era right now.
I mean, like I said,
to be cutting it off at 50.
Besides, like I said, coming back for like 1 or 2 special matches after you're 50 or something like that, it feels like that's the thing. So, like I said, it's sad, but like I said, I want to send Ray off right. So if he's hurt again, I mean, I hope that somebody is rushing the story. If not, like I said, Paul, call Casey and I. We'll put together the Rey Mysterio retirement tour storyline, you know? So.
Well, all right. I know I said last thing, but actual last thing, because we don't really play the games, but 26 was announced. 2K26 was announced recently. And in all the 2K games, they do a showcase mode where they'll do like storylines and stuff revolving around typically either a certain era or a certain wrestler or something like that. Well, this year it's going to be CM Punk. And I thought you might like this because of your Marvel ties and the What If show that they did. But they're going to be doing like a what if scenario for CM Punk in the showcase mode if he never walked out of WWE in 2014, if he were just with WWE this whole time. So I think that's going to be really fun. That might convince me to get the game alone right
Like
there.
they've already written
'Cause
this, like you play like a set storyline. Then like they have an idea,
Yep.
or it is that's kind of. I mean, I just didn't know how like
It's all planned out.
open. I know like open to interpret. It's like you choose A, you go here. You choose B.
They might have some of that. It's been
Right,
a
some
long time
choice.
since I
But
played a
no, it's
showcase
cool that
mode, but
somebody like fantasy booked it. That's a cool
yeah,
what if. I always love
yeah,
you know I love sports what ifs. You know, so
yeah,
that's a
dude.
cool one. I'm for it.
Well, I think just what ifs about pop culture stuff in general is pretty fun. Like that's why I love the Marvel what ifs so much. It's like, man, is some of this realistic? No, not really, but it's really fun and it's really entertaining. And I say realistic for the MCU, probably not. Comic books are a whole different realm of possibilities. You know, like if you ask anybody, you know, because you're a comic guy. I'm just speaking off of my personal experience, but if you ask a casual Marvel fan, like an MCU watcher, um, we don't know a lot of the comic stories. So when we hear, oh yeah, so and so killed so and took their powers and became an omnipotent being, we're like, what the hell? And you're like, oh yeah, that's just the third issue of this run, dude. We got 50 issues to go. It's like, what? Where
Well,
do
I
we
say
go from?
it's
Yeah,
like my favorite sports what ifs. You're like, what if the Dolphins had taken Drew Brees, you know, and Nick Saban and Drew Brees, that changes the whole sports landscape. Saban never goes to Alabama. The Saints never become the Saints in a sense. What if Peyton Manning had gone out his junior year instead of his senior year? You know,
mhm,
changes. There's a whole bunch of great little what like. You know, it's the butterfly effect, you know, one
yeah,
little change, like how much would that one little change of Punk not leaving the WWE change the course of all sorts of things? Like, who knows? I mean, I wonder if they've got like some guy in there who now has a huge career, right? But they're like, nah, if Punk had stayed, this guy would have never had a career. And all of a sudden, somebody's like, you think I would just disappeared? Like, I would have taken if it's
well,
me, I would have taken it. But like, you know, imagine like, you know, LA Knight never becomes anything if Punk stays or something, you know?
well, think about this. I don't know that they would necessarily do something like that because it's Seth, but you got to think
There we go.
The Shield was born out of a necessity to CM Punk. CM
Mm-hmm.
Punk basically he created the Shield and had handpicked Seth Rollins to be in the group. The only one that wasn't handpicked was Roman Reigns. And then WWE was like, "No, we don't like this guy. We're going to replace him with Roman." And so how different would Seth's career look
Right.
if CM Punk had stayed? And I think that's the biggest one, especially considering their recent history and
Mm-hmm.
everything that was said between them, you know,
Maybe
after
best
and before he came
friends.
back. Maybe so, dude.
But
You know,
Becky and
maybe
AJ go shopping together.
maybe in this alternate reality, CM Punk and Seth Rollins are one of the greatest tag teams to ever exist. Who knows, man? It's I don't know. Like I said, I thought that you would really like that because the what if situation makes me want to get the game almost
Dude, yeah, I
alone.
like it. Yeah, no, like I said, depending if that's how long that storyline is, sort of thing. Like if it's like a 5 hour thing, like maybe I'll find. I wish GameFly still existed. I'd rent it, you know. But
You could probably just find give it like a week after. I say a
yeah,
week, maybe not even. Give it like 2 days after the game comes out. You could probably find a watch along on YouTube
I know
and
there's
just
that too.
there you go.
Yeah, yeah. No, but no, but you're
That's
right.
how I've kept up with the Batman Arkham games. I can never find the time to play them all, and so I would just like pop up a 6 hour video on YouTube and just watch the storyline play out. So
Right.
yeah, maybe you could do that.
No, but no, I'm with you, dude. Like 100%. That makes me curious about buying the game where I would have I'd usually, like I said, I'd play it if somebody brought it over or something like that, but I'm not looking to buy, you know. So
Well,
that might
and
be the one version I
there are
buy.
whole game modes in there, Matt, that you can like build your own rosters and
But yeah, no,
you
I
know.
know now. Yeah, no, those
So
games have gotten so extensive. No, yeah,
Matt's gonna get WWE 2K Twix, and then he's gonna text me at 2 a.m. He's like, "I haven't put it down.
yeah, right. I'm like,
I have class at 8 a.m."
get on my Twitch stream now.
Yeah, right. Go to the TK Wrestling Twitch channel that we're gonna start.
Yeah, right. It's just me
Hey, I used to
24/7.
I
I
used
can't
to
stop.
yeah, right. This is my SmackDown universe that I booked. I'm 20 in
Yeah.
and
Luckily I can DoorDash dinner every night. They just bring it to me.
or your insomnia cookies that you leave on the front porch.
Oh, insomnia cookies. I almost ordered
All
some of
right,
those last night. All right.
well, that was pretty much all we had to talk about. Wanted to address some rumors. I was looking through some more to see if there was any news about what Roman's plans may be. I did see something about Netflix. They said that they're changing the commercial format on Raw, where there will be less commercials, but the commercial breaks will be just like a tad bit longer.
That's fine. Like I said, just put him in the right spot. Put him in the right spot, and don't give us so much recap. Like, there's so many times it's like, I mean, I get that you like the first episode of Raw for the year when you're trying to get eyes on it, you got to put that recap. But man, like, do we need recap every episode? I mean, like, if nothing else, you know, then Netflix just start making little short, like 10-minute vignettes that like you can skip. It's like that you can watch from 6:50 to 7 before Raw starts. It's
what they should do is, exactly. That's what I was about to say. What they should do is they should just make a little compilation clip, the same thing they post on YouTube, and just post it right before Raw airs. And then as soon as that is over, it transitions right into the intro of Raw. That's exactly what you should do every week. Matter of fact, WWE, if you contact us, we'll do it for you. No? We'll probably do it a lot cheaper than your editing team will. So it's like, but I say that to show you it's not hard to do that.
No, you know, it's not.
A little bit,
and you
video.
know, I'm sorry, you already kind of make them for YouTube. You know, you already make your highlight packages for YouTube. Just take that 8 to 10 minute highlight package that you make the next day and throw it in front of the next Raw. You know?
Exactly.
I mean, and then, like I said, you can cut down on the backstory or whatever the redundant backstory and put the commercials there and quit cutting commercials in the middle of matches when you don't have to anymore. You know,
it's like, look, dude, we grew up with cable television. I can handle a 5-minute commercial break. Sometimes I almost need a 5-minute commercial break.
Yeah, sometimes I need to get up, get some food, you know, maybe go to the bathroom, come back, and you know, sometimes you're popping a bag of popcorn. You got to keep in mind how long is a bag of popcorn. A commercial break should be as long as it takes to pop a bag of popcorn.
There you go.
That's like 3.5 minutes or 2.5 minutes.
Start a new petition right now. Start a new petition.
All commercials.
Change the commercial breaks to match the popcorn cooking time.
Call it the popcorn policy.
Redenbacher popcorn bag. The popcorn policy.
There we go.
Integrated ASAP. Yeah, no, look, dude, I would rather 5-minute commercial breaks than 22-minute commercial breaks.
Right.
Like, I agree with you. We won't harp too much on it, but I saw that in the news and rumors. Wanted to bring that up. And hopefully they figure out a system that works. And
hopefully that means they've been listening to us, that we've been, you know, or not just us, but I mean the fans, because it's not just us talking about the commercials. I think this is a kind of across the board. So hopefully that means that they're getting, you know, that news or they're getting that opinion. All right. So like, subscribe, comment, let us know, man. Like I said, we look forward to hearing from you guys. We enjoy, thank you for the views. Like I said, be sure to subscribe to all the things, the YouTube, the Instagram, the TikTok, all that stuff. And yeah, Casey, what else we got? That's it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to promise anything, but I would like to keep going on the format where we get a pod for SmackDown and a pod for Raw going every week. So if that's something you guys want to see, drop in the comments down below. Ideally, I would like to get like a Saturday pod for SmackDown if we can get that going, and then like a Tuesday pod for Raw. I feel like that kind of splits the week perfectly almost.
So that's what we're going to shoot for, I think. I even bought a second microphone to leave in my office, so I can have one in my office and one at the house. So I got to keep transporting it back and forth.
Hell yeah!
It's not here yet, but it'll be here next week. So I'll have
a collegiate professor right there, fellas. That's a collegiate professor in the big brain activity. But yeah,
it just looks cool in my office too. You know, it looks
right. Yeah, people walk in, you're like, oh, what's that mic for? Oh, that's for my wrestling podcast. Yeah. And then hey, give it a few days, and you can tell them something else about the wrestling podcast too.
That's right.
So give them a few more days. But yeah, and then I don't know, man. We keep talking about jumping into these interviews, like these in-person interviews, and let us know in the comments what you think about that. We want to tackle this indie scene in Louisiana. I think there's a lot of untapped potential here that a lot of people don't know about, and I don't know, man, with WWE seeing online content as more than ever before, who knows what one interview can do for a guy down here in the South that's really busting his ass, or a woman that's busting her ass, you know, doing all the work. So I really would love to highlight the smaller indie shows at some point. And so let us know what you think about that. Something we've had in the works for a while now. So until next time, like Matt said, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share, make sure you comment, go like and follow and do all the stuff to all the other pages. And until next Tuesday for our Raw review pod, we're going to get out of here.
Who's up?